it's Jess. Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping some thoughts and opinions on episode 4 of Real Housewives of Potomac. And let's jump right in. Is y'all ready? Because I'm ready. What did Maddie say? Is we live? Shout out to T.S. Madison. Love her down. So let's get right to it. I did not feel this episode gave us a whole lot of plot development, but we do have some things to discuss. Number one, I was really here for the Telfar bag placement in the scene with Giselle and Robin at the hair salon. I have some questions, as per usual. That's what we're here for. Why? It's been this thing that I have noticed since season 1 of Real Housewives of Atlanta that they will have a scene where the girls are at the hair salon but not really getting their hair done. It'll be like, oh, I just want to get a little bump, whatever. You can't actually do that at a hair salon, not at a professional hair salon. You can't just slide through like that, and that has always annoyed me. I know there was 1 or 2 times where I think it was like Robin actually like got a full service hairdo at her salon, maybe like last season, and I was so happy because what is that? Do people, let me know, slide in the comments, let me know, are you actually going to your licensed, trained, professional hair salon just to get your wig bumped? Is that a thing that people are doing? That's just an aside. It's something I've always wondered about. Just go get your hair all the way done. I don't know, but I know like we live in the age of wigs, and maybe that's what wig maintenance is. I don't know. Let me know. Educate me. Robin and Giselle are doing a photo shoot for a podcast. Are y'all tuning into that podcast? Let me tell you something. The two of them having a podcast made me rethink whether or not I should have a podcast. Am I on my podcast talking about absolute nonsense? I had a little bit of an existential crisis because I was like, what they gonna talk about? These are not 2 women whose opinions I would want to hear about anything of substance. I'm coming to know that Robin really kind of doesn't have very many opinions about anything. Robin horrifies me. Let me tell you why. Robin seems like she has been so wrapped up in her relationship with Juan for the majority of her adulthood that she has never actually formed a personality or independent thoughts or just a way of living outside of being Juan's partner, and that horrifies me. I think, especially right now where we're having these conversations about this alleged division between women who want to be stay-at-home moms and fulfill more traditional feminine roles versus women who want to be more career driven, who maybe don't want kids, who don't want to be subservient in their relationships, or maybe don't want partnership as we typically think of it at all, right? I don't think that those 2 things are mutually exclusive. I think that you can absolutely do both, and we'll get to that a little bit later. I will admit that there isn't enough representation of a balance of both of those, and so this isn't me shading Robin for not being more career driven. If you want to build your life around being a wife and a mother, that's perfectly fine, but have some semblance of identity within that. And as the seasons draw on, it's becoming so much more clear that the reason Robin capes for Giselle so hard is because Robin really doesn't have anything else to do. She has these hats, but I don't know anyone who owns a hat. And I genuinely do hope that that line is doing well because, you know, people need their coins. We all do. This is capitalism, okay? I look at Robin's hats in the same way that I look at J-Lo's music career. I don't know anybody who is a fan of J-Lo's music, but J-Lo can sell out tours, apparently. And, you know, she's always getting all these opportunities, so somebody like it. So, you know, it's not, you know, maybe Robin is driven in a way that I don't see, but I would like to see her form more of an identity for herself. She has not, her character on this show just has not developed very much. And again, it horrifies me to tie your identity to a man who is ambivalent at best about his support of you. It's not looking good. Y'all know Robin is far from my favorite person, and that's just a little bit of why. A little bit of why is because I don't like to see people sacrifice their being for an identity that isn't fulfilling. It just doesn't look like she's fulfilled. She does not look like a person who has a lot of joy. I'll say that. And I think that she gloms onto Giselle to give herself a personality. And we'll get to that in a minute. Giselle, I don't understand your reasoning for the breakup with Jamal. I don't understand how now the long distance is a thing. It's like, oh, you can't be in a long distance relationship during a pandemic. And it's like, but y'all had been in a long distance relationship pre-pandemic. What changed? And then I love when she was, sharing this info with her hairstylist. He was like, you can absolutely have a long distance relationship like during a pandemic. If anything, isn't that what more people were kind of doing just by virtue of it being a pandemic? I don't understand that reasoning. I feel like maybe she's trying to save face given the whole binder incident from last year's reunion. I don't know, but I would also like to see, Giselle is not great at vulnerability or transparency. And there seems to be a block with her, and even her girls call her on it. She's not great at emotional support because I don't know that Giselle supports herself emotionally. Like, does Giselle give herself permission to be vulnerable or to be what she considers weak? That's just something that I wonder. I don't know, but her reasoning seems sketchy at best. And I don't know if y'all know this, but Robin has been quite transparent about her feelings about that relationship in her confessionals. So I wonder if Giselle is going to feel a way about how Robin has talked about that relationship with Jamal in her confessionals. Anywho, sorry, I'm checking my notes. Want to make sure I keep up with everything. So there was made mention, Robin, Wendy, and Ascala, did an outside workout. I miss outside workouts. I don't know how they were working out in coats. I get so hot all the time. I could not work out in a coat. I don't care how, it would have to be, I don't know, like below freezing outside for me to do that. Let me say this real quick. I don't like Ascala calling Mia messy. Based on what? What has Mia actually done to make her messy? I don't like it. I don't like the energy. I'm watching you, Ascala. We'll get to what you did later in the episode in a second. I don't like it. But there was made mention that someone called Wendy small-minded. And I just want to make the distinction that you can be technically educated and also closed-minded. Especially if you are someone who builds your personality and your identity around what academia means. It is entirely possible that you can be educated and be small-minded. We see it all the time. College is not even that challenging to get into anymore. Wendy is incredibly educated. Obviously, she lets us know every chance she gets. But Wendy is small-minded, and we see that. Michael getting into film. I'm with Ashley. It's a no. Very risky business. Do you see what these budgets are for these like huge films that end up not even doing as well as they were? Like, you have to pour so much money into a film for it to be successful with really no guarantee that it's going to be. And I guess that can be said for any investment, but film just seems especially risky, especially if it's not something that you're familiar with. Michael is just such a sketchy person. He's just always on some weird shit. And it's like, how did you arrive here where this is a good idea for you? No, thank you, Michael. I'm with Ashley. To the earlier point I made about having it all. Mia, we get to see kind of like a day in the life of like a working mom. She's going to the chiropractic place to, check up how managers do, I suppose. And, she can't drop her son off to practice something or another. And her husband is like, he values this alone time with you, not trying to come down on you, but maybe let's work on this. And I have always subscribed to the belief that, like, years ago, I interviewed at a company with one of the VPs, and I asked the VP, how do you feel your work-life balance is supported via this company? And she said that you absolutely can have it all, but not at the same time. And I think Oprah might have said that too. And I will never forget her drawing me like a little just pie chart where she was like, you have work, you have family, you have friends. At any given time during the day, during the week, during the month, whatever, you're going to find yourself giving a little bit more to one of these areas or two of these areas and a little bit less elsewhere. You can have it all, but not at the same time. I appreciate that because that allows for I appreciate that idea because that allows for the flexibility of however life unfolds for you. What I was wondering in looking at Mia's situation was, is this just a time management issue? Is it just a matter of having boundaries and putting like a hard stop on your calendar that I absolutely will not be available during this time. On these days, this is what I do for my son. And like, that's a boundary that you have to form. I think that people look at examples like that and say, see, when you want to be like a career woman, you end up neglecting your kids. I don't want people to look at that and use that as an example to, paint with a broad brush. I just think that this is a part of what it means for life to unfold. Sometimes you run into issues where then you have to be flexible or you have to establish a harder boundary. So I am curious to see how that unfolds a little bit more for Mia. And, will we get to see her form better boundaries, better, time management around being a working mother and wife. I'm hoping for that for her because y'all not like Mia. I don't see no problem with Mia. The ladies show up to Candace's, farewell for her townhouse. And Robin and Karen are talking about, their weddings. And Robin, sure, you shouldn't have a wedding or a ceremony or a social gathering with however many people during the pandemic, especially when this was filming, because I definitely felt like it was inappropriate for Cynthia to have had her wedding during a pandemic. It could have been a super spreader event. I thought that it was irresponsible. However, I think pandemic or no pandemic, this wedding wasn't gonna really, jump off. The world may never know, but I think that was a convenient excuse for you, Robin. Sorry. Can we also talk about Karen calling Giselle's robe fake? Was it fake, y'all? Do y'all think Giselle has a fake Versace robe? Slide in the comments, let me know. Because I didn't clock it as fake, but I tend to really not be that kind of person in as much as I can be. I really want to know, though. Karen had me curious. Karen and Giselle have smoked for each other on site, like off rip. And it's really, Karen is always really kind of trying to play it cool, and Giselle is doing the most, and Karen is just like, okay, which I also love because that's the only way that you can really combat people with narcissistic tendencies is to starve them of the attention. So moving along, okay. The big drama this episode is that Giselle and Robin, I guess, thought they were doing Mia a favor because they treat this show like it's a pledge process. And they invited Mia for cocktails, but stipulated that it should be without Karen. And I applaud Mia for having a boundary because I'm not going to set a precedent that says that you can tell me how to perform friendship with you, that you can tell me who I can and cannot bring. I also understand, Giselle and Robin wanting to have a boundary of we want to get to know you away from this person's influence. But to me, you don't really get to you don't get to do a preemptive strike in that way. If Mia's going to be influenced by Karen, that's just going to happen regardless because y'all not going to always be around, no way. So I understood Mia being like, no. Maybe her delivery was a little bit harsh, but I was also annoyed at how Robin once again had to jump in, and it still felt like it was a cape for Giselle. Like, be your own person. Let her fight her own battles. I thought Mia handled it really well. Mia said, you know what, maybe my delivery was off. And, you know, I tend to get this feedback from women that I can be a bit harsh. So that's something that I'll work on. But I also feel I don't want to be told who I can and cannot socialize with you. Like, you don't get to dictate that to me. And I understood that. Let me tell you what I was super confused about. When a scholar jumped in and said that there was some delusion going on, who was deluded? What were you talking about? I can only stand here and be silent for so long. About what? What? Again, it's giving very much I'm new here and I'm trying to, you know, have a storyline. I did not like it. I understand the purpose of these shows. It's to be in mess, but don't be annoying. A scholar really annoyed me this episode. You know, and I do not like I don't like groupthink. I don't like a ganged up mentality. What did she do to you? Tell me what she did to you, though. What exactly was offensive to you? Or are you just caping for your friends because you feel like she should be so lucky to get an invite from these two women? You know, I just wasn't here for it. Again, I like Mia. I don't see a problem. I'm glad that she cleared up for them that she had vaginal rejuvenation. But once again, these women are like taking that as an opportunity to attack her intellect and to say that she's not smart. And it's, oh, well, do you not know anatomy? And here's the thing. When we talk about women's biological issues, a lot of times you just refer to the whole thing as your vagina. So was it strange that she said that she got, you know, her clit fixed as opposed to her whole vagina? Sure. But I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of women out there, because of the way that women's bodies aren't considered serious or important when it comes to biology. There's a lot of people as a whole who are not well educated or well versed on female anatomy. And I'll say that your vagina is the canal. Your lips or your labia, that's this part. You know what I mean? Like, I will never forget having a conversation with several friends in college who did not know that there were 3 holes. There's a lot of people who are not well versed on female anatomy, okay? And I think that especially Wendy has a stick up her ass, a thorn in her side, a bee in her bonnet when it comes to Mia. So any opportunity to make Mia look bad, she's going to jump on it. And, you know, maybe I'm caping for Mia because I just don't see the problem. I don't know why. Mia walked in a room and the insecurity jumped out. And it's just like everyone needs to relax. It's not that deep. It looks like next episode the girls end up getting together and she, you know, shares some things about her past with them. Fine, you know, let's all get along, whatever. Escala, I'm watching you. Don't be on the wrong side of right. Trying to keep up. Anywho, those are my thoughts, feelings, questions for episode 4 of Real Housewives of Potomac. Slide in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're questioning, what you're thinking about. Also, make sure to subscribe, to share, to like. Join my Patreon if you want to slide me some coins so that I don't have to get a fake Versace robe. And I will see you guys for next episode. Bye.